Guys, deluded, I'm back again. Now, Paulinho, the Brazilian player. Those of you that like to read about journeys and stuff away from football, footballers speak stuff away from football. What I mean by that is, yeah, if you was to ask the man in question, Paulinho, his troubles about being a footballer, he will typically tell you the trials, the tribulations, different managers, all that typical answers. But Players Tribute website, they go beyond that. They ask players about their beginnings, try and see what actually happened in their childhood or their actual hardship sort of thing. Paulinho, I've got a newfound respect for him now. We know typically, like a lot of Brazilians, the gateway is to Europe, is to make it in Europe. We're seeing a slight change in the sense that Neymar took forever to come to Europe. Essentially, you're seeing okay to a degree, Paulinho, Drago, Junior, they all two are going to Madrid, one's going to Leverkusen. They all haven't really established themselves in Brazilian league, but they've made a name of sorts to themselves and they've moved versus straight away to Europe 10 years or 5 years ago or so ago. So it's changed slightly, yeah, but we know more or less the gateway is to Europe for a lot of Brazilians. If you're a good Brazilian, no disrespect, you go to the top leagues, the Spains, the Italies, England, if you can get a work permit, etc. If you're a good one, but people want to make profits or easier to get a work permit, you find yourselves in the likes of Ukraine and Russia and these sort of countries to a degree. Russia might not be a good example, but you get what I mean in it. You see Schalke, Fred, all them numerous Brazilian players that have either been sold on or whatever, Douglas Costa, etc. So you've seen it. But Paulinho left Brazil at 17 years of age and returned at 19, and he's gone through a lot of hardships to be a footballer. I rate him, man. Real resilience. Obviously, he left at 17, probably too young. He went to Lithuania where he experienced severe racism, people monkey chants as you'd expect on the training ground and matches and them things there. He said once he was walking to the bakery and people would come up intimidating monkeys and people would throw stuff, people would barge, people would throw coins. And for a young man, 17 years of age, he knew he didn't have to take that, but he's not in his own country. He's not in his country, so he can't act out in a way in the sense that if he was in Brazil or somewhere else. So he had to deal with a lot. He returned from 17. He returned to Brazil at 19. He had a stop off in Poland, which he said was actually better from a being treated like a human being sort of standpoint. So he did his thing. He was close to giving up. In fact, he gave up at 19. He was thinking about building houses or learning a trade, because typically in Brazil, from the ages of 15, you really have to work, such as the poverty in most places there in Brazil. Sad to say. But he wanted to give his parents a better life. Obviously, his ex-wife, this is how you know sometimes you have to listen to women when they tell you stuff. I can't even lie, people. I'm obviously referring to when you're in a relationship. She said, if you quit football, what else are you going to do? What else can you do? And he built his way up from the 4th division in Brazil back to obviously ending up in Internacional, or no, not Internacional, Corinthians, playing under Tite, however you want to say his name, Brazil coach. And he's done his thing. And obviously, it didn't work out at Spurs. He said he hasn't got a bad thing to say about Spurs. Didn't work out at Spurs, went to China, people writing him off, and he's at Barcelona now. And then even I have to rate him even more, because when he moved to Barcelona, he was going through some serious problems with his children. They were born early, they were connected to tubes and stuff in the hospital, so you can imagine what a man's going through. Every training session, you're thinking about that. He said sometimes before training, he would think about all the tubes in them, and quite rightly so. You'd be forgiven for not wanting to go training and things like that, and very few things are more important than football. This is one of them. So the mental strength is amazing, man, to deal with everybody, myself included, writing him off as a footballer to a degree, to now playing for Barcelona. Tete is a manager that's gave him a lot of faith and's worked with him at club level, so that's probably why he's in the starting lineup. But I can't not rate him enough, man, and it shows what happens when you never give up, because I know a lot of people that have genuinely fell out of love for football, and if he, at 19, if he really gave up and just stayed, whatever, no one would know the name Paulinho. He wouldn't have the money that's come with football, so he can provide a better life for his family and things like that. So I rate him, man. He's gone through a lot, man, to be at 17 years of age, being outcast in Lithuania, iffy spell in Poland, 19 return back to 26, 27, 28, 29, however old he is, playing for one of the best teams in Europe, doing his thing at the World Cup, scoring at the World Cup, which he probably didn't even think he'd be at 4 years ago. So it goes to show, if you keep your head up, and cream eventually rises to the top, if you keep a positive attitude together with some external factors, you have half a chance. Guys, deluded, get in the comments, subscribe and do the rest. I'm out. Thank you very much for your time.